What are we talking about, Jess?
We're talking about our experiences with Black men and Black women in today's society.
All right.
Yeah. And we're going to start off with just like a timeline of events. So pretty much we're going to start off with slavery and how its effects are still affecting us today. And then we're going to talk about our experiences at a PWI versus a HBCU within the Black community. And then also we're going to talk about stereotypes.
All right, so we got a lot to talk about today. So let's first talk about the text that you have been reading.
Yeah.
And whatnot.
Mm-hmm. So the first text is from the source Inquiries, and it's by J.M. Allen. And it says sexual relations between elite white women and enslaved men in the antebellum South, a social historical analysis. And Toni, you had a chance of reading this because I actually picked it out. I'm like, what is going on? Yeah. What happened back then?
So basically, in the abstract, it goes in to tell you that, how Black in slavery time, we have our slave masters, white slave masters would, rape Black women, either if it was, it wasn't really like consensual back in that time. It was just that they can do that. But it also talks to, on the, like basically the perspective of a white woman raping a Black man, and how even though it wasn't that common, it still happened. So basically, let's talk about the fact that they were also saying that some of the reasons why a white woman would have done that is because of the fact that, it was something that it was maybe out of spite because she was maybe jealous that her husband was, raping or having sexual intercourse with a enslaved person. Or it could have been the fact that, it's something, feeling dominance,
It's a regaining of power that she wanted, because you see back in the day, women didn't have many rights. They weren't able to do as much as the man could. So the man had all the power. And as a result, the woman had this lack of inside of her that she felt she needed. And as a result, whenever she could, if she wanted to, she could pursue a relationship with a Black man if it was possible.
Yes. And also how it did talk about how it was dangerous, for a white woman to do it, because, women are nurturing, we are nurturing beings. So yes, we can produce a person and bring them into this world, right? So it also talks about how, having mixed children was a no-no, you know what I mean? But, for a white woman, a white man, doing that, it still was a no-no, but for women, they are carrying this in their bodies. So like if a woman were to step out their marriage and to a white man, okay, that was different. It wasn't it was less looked down on upon, but if it was a Black man, it was just terrible. But I wanted to also say that, it says not all sexual encounters between masters and female slaves would be considered rape, according to the most definitions of the term concubine type. So I felt like that was interesting because why wouldn't it be considered rape? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It is rape. Yeah. Most of them didn't have, first of all, most of them weren't educated and they don't really know their rights.
Yeah.
And most of them didn't have rights. So I felt like that was not cool. It wasn't considered rape. It was rape. And that makes me angry in a sense because it's just like Black women, you can see the fact that history repeats itself because Black women in today's society are still, we don't really have that much rights. We're still inferior.
The Black man could vote before the woman could, as you guys know. So, and that states like we need to look at also how let's see. So I highlighted some points that I wanted to make, and it says, for example, in the prisoners in disguise part, it says women were seen as physically and intellectually inferior to men, but much more pure, and moral. In that aspect, it's talking about how, oh, we need to keep the woman this way. We need to condition her to be this way, which is innocent, weak-minded, and she needs to be protected at all times. And within that, that means, oh, the man has to do everything. He has to be the boss. And it also says white women vulnerability, the idea that plantation wives and daughters needed to be protected, defended, and sheltered. So as a result, that's how women were portrayed, and as a result, that's made them feel like, oh my God, always need someone. No, I don't. I actually can do stuff for myself. And today's society, women are able to work and have maternity leave if they want to, if they're pregnant, and a lot of women are becoming their own bosses as entrepreneurs. So in that aspect, I would say things have changed, but we're just looking at how the white women had that inferior complex inside of her that was not right. She knew she was not feeling right in that aspect, and as a result, you can tell. If you look at the article, it says the upper class white women, whatever luxuries their privileged race and class status afforded them, faced a unique set of limiting patriarchal dicta, which means she doesn't have the ability to have a status within like the political arena, within her financials, and yes, this stuff goes really deep, guys. So if you guys want to look at this article, I will link it below in the description box.
And I really think you guys should really read it, because it's very insightful, and it can also change your perspective on life, and just being educated on certain things, that's important.
Yes.
So I also want to, in correlation with that text, I also wanted to talk about The Helping Tradition in the Black Family and Community by Joanne M. Martin and Elmer P. Martin. This book, I honestly read it in my Black Families class, and I would say that it's a great book, because like we're gonna talk in the previous later on, we're going to talk about stereotypes, and I just wanted to say that in correlation with this, and how the dissonance between male and female, which we would get in this text, you get here too. It talked about how when we were slaves, when Black people were slaves, there was a sense between the Black man and Black woman. They were on the same playing field. There was equality there. I guess technically it was like the form of, today's democracy, they were on the same playing field. But when we became free people, that's when the Black man and the Black woman went into this form of monarchy and patriarchy, and the patriarchy, basically. I'm gonna talk about that, and how it said that in this text, many men took marriage to mean that they had legal dominance over Black women, and the religious vows requiring wives to honor and obey their husbands to mean that God himself has sanctioned such dominance. So I also want to talk about the fact that when we were slaves, the white man used religion to basically keep us enslaved and in bondage. But we took religion, we flipped that script, and we started to realize that, that's not true. You know what I mean? God doesn't want us to be slaves, because it says in the Bible, obey your masters and all that stuff. And that's what they use. But actually the churches helped us, mentally, to get out of that, and wanted to fight back in a sense of knowing that is wrong. And I would say that has also impacted the roles of men and women in before and now today's society. The Bible.
Definitely. I agree, because many people I talk to in general, they're like, wow, don't you realize that they pushed religion on us? Do you know why? And I'm like, why? And they're like, well, if you look at some of the not the documents, but if you look at some of the verses in the Bible, it says they use the master to use that as, oh, you gotta look up to us, you gotta obey us, and you guys have to realize that what we gave you is like your savior, your God, and you must obey to that. So it was kind of like a tactic of fear too. And as a result, like, we gotta realize that that's important to know within that aspect of the Bible and the religion of how they tried to use that on us.
Yes. So that's some good, be knowledgeable. And also, we can just write this in the comment box below too.
Yeah.
All right.
And another thing that I wanted to bring up is this very big, it's a book. Okay, it's a short book, but at the same time, I say it's big because this Willie Lynch letter, you guys might have heard of it. The Willie Lynch letter really talks about how the white man had this system of domination over black people and the black woman and the black man, and how over time they knew that this system of domination of order would work. And it even says it would work for over 300 years. But that's a long time. And honestly, once I read this, I was in awe. I was like, man, this shows a lot in our community. So I'm going to read page 17 of the book. I'll show you guys the book. And it says, the breaking process of the African woman. Take the female and run a series of tests on her to see if she will submit to your desires willingly. Test her in every way because she is the most important factor for good economics. If she shows any signs of resistance in submitting completely to your will, do not hesitate to use the bullwhip on her to extract that last bit of bitch out of her. Take care not to kill her, for in doing so you will spoil good economics. When in complete submission, she will train her offspring in the early years to submit to labor when they become of age. Understanding is the best thing. Therefore, we shall go deeper into this area of the subject matter concerning what we have produced here in this breaking of the female N-word. I'm not going to say it. We have reversed the relationships. In her natural uncivilized state, she would have a strong dependency on the uncivilized N-word male, and she would have a limited protective dependency toward her independent male offspring and would raise female offspring to be dependent like her. Nature has provided for this type of balance. We reverse nature by burning and pulling one civilized N-word apart and bullwhipping the other to the point of death, all in her presence. By her being left alone, unprotected, with the male image destroyed, the ordeal caused her to move from her psychologic dependent state to a frozen independent state. In this frozen psychological state of independence, she will raise her male and female offspring in reversed roles. For fear of the young male's life, she will psychologically train him to be mentally weak and dependent, but physically strong. Because she has become psychologically independent, she will train her female offspring to be psychologically independent as well. What have you got? You got the N-word woman out front and the N-word man behind and scared. This is a perfect situation for sound sleep economics. And if you realize what these words, these specific words like independent, dependent, if you look at a lot of different music videos or women, they talk about their independent women. This is saying exactly how women are independent, because this type of system that they were trying to push on to the black people, it showed that, oh, she must be independent. She don't need no man. And in that case, this is the state that we're living in. Mm-hmm. This is still upon us. We need to break from this. And honestly, they even said making the black man physically strong. As we know, the black man is very predominantly the strong man in sports, NBA, NFL. Look at that. That's important stuff right there. And honestly, I could go on and on and on with this whole letter, but if you read it for yourself, you will see exactly how the white man of the time was really able to control the black race and the black community.
Wow.
So, guys, let us know if you read these books too, and if you want us to discuss a little bit more in detail about certain things. So we're gonna talk about our
own experience.
Our own experiences. So this is hot. This is a hot topic right here.
Our own experiences at a PWI versus like at a HBCU. So Jess, what is a PWI?
A PWI is a private white institution. So publicly, it could be private, but most of the times it is privately white institutions. For example, like there are Loyola University. That's one private institution. There's let me see.
It's not only private. It can also. It's just like a term for predominantly white institution.
Okay.
So it could be any institution, as in like University of Maryland.
Yeah.
The Ivy
College
League schools. Everything.
Harvard.
Anything that's predominantly white people. And you will know that because you will have HBCUs and HBCUs.
That's right. So we go to HBCUs.
And at HBCU, the acronym stands for Historically Black College University. Yeah. So you can see the difference, If you don't go to HBCU, you would know if you go to HBCU. Because, like Howard's a HBCU, Morgan State, Coppin, Spelman. Yes. These are HBCU. When you have an HBCU, it's based on some history.
Yes.
About
learning about your culture, how far people as Black people have come thus far, and celebrating that independence of we have our own ways that we can establish, like we can be our own people. We don't have to depend on another race just because we got handouts over courses of years. We still have our own culture. We can't just let that be erased.
Yes, and HBCUs are not only for Black people, no, but HBCUs mostly came about because we were deprived of education. Mm-hmm. So I don't know generally all the reasons why Howard was created or whatnot. I only know mine HBCU, but most of them is because of the fact that a person was deprived of their education, so they wanted to do something to start an institution where Black males or Black women could get their education, because we weren't allowed to go to white schools. So that's why. And our own experiences in today's society, 2018, how we feel, the history that we just informed you guys about, how we feel it impacted today's society, right?
That's right. There's so many long-lasting effects, as you guys know from the Willie Lynch letter, how being an independent woman has been a very big popular term in today's society, and now you know why. So we're going to talk about how when we went to a PWI, it was like, what's going on?
Yes. And it's like, we're not bashing PWIs. I don't want anybody to say that, because that's not... It's just the fact that, we're saying our own experience. We're not saying that's going to be everybody's experience. Don't want you guys to get that. But we're not going to say the PWI that we went to because we felt like we didn't want to feel the institution, the university would feel like, oh, they're bashing our school. Don't want that. No. We're not bashing your school. We're just giving our own opinion. And it's a free country.
Yes.
So
freedom of speech.
Freedom of speech. So, do you want to go first? We could just both
okay, let's just do the
let's do
alternating.
Are y'all ready?
You guys are ready?
Are you ready?
All right, so basically, when I was at a PWI and I noticed it was like these black guys, like, hey, what's up, and they would be just around and out about. We went to the concert that was there, and then they would be with a bunch of white women, and I'm like, what's going on? What about the black women? Like, are you guys gonna look at us too? Because we want to see like you interacting with not just an opposite race. We want inclusion of everybody. We don't want this equality happening, because when we see this equality among people who feel like their race is not good, not saying that that's the case, but that to me tells me like, do you know your history? Like, be happy about who you are. Don't erase that. Don't discredit that. So we were there, and I was like, what's going on? They're like really popping with the white women. I'm like, you guys can be popping with them, but also say hi to your own people. Like, respect that. That's important. You gotta know who you came from. And I honestly was just like, wow, I really hope you guys know your history, because when you know your history, you are able to say, wow, like, I have mad respect for this lady, and like, I want to also explore like how it is to be with a different type of girl, like a black girl or white girl, Asian, anything. Just always know that you can't just limit yourself, because many people will think, oh, black girls got attitudes, they got a lot of talking to do, and that's a stereotype too, which we're gonna get into more in a few. But honestly, I was just like, why are they just all in one circle? There are some black women that were there that were talking to amongst themselves, just as other black women were with each other, but there should be more diversity within your own race too, because black people come in different shades of light skin to dark skin. Like, there's so many beautiful shades within us that we can say like, hey, we're not just one type of people. Right. We have much more to us.
Mm-hmm. I would say going to that PWI, I felt weird in a sense, because I go to an HBCU and, I see on a daily, if we go to functions, like going to a concert, them guys are going, them guys that's going to be like, oh, she pretty, like, I'm at a slide, what's up, what's your name, like, there are guys like that. But when I went to the PWI, it was different. I felt like it was like one dominant race that everybody's trying to act like and be like, and I felt like I couldn't be expressive of who I am. I'm a black woman. I feel like the black people there, it's like if I went there, I would feel like I have to conform to the image in this one image, and I don't want to be like that, because I'm who I am. I'm going to wear my braids. I'm going to I'm very shapy. You know what I mean? I don't have to, be uncomfortable within myself. And I felt like when you go there, you see a trend amongst their community where it's just they're conforming to one race. They're trying to be like one race, and it's just like, I didn't really like that. I didn't really like how it made me feel. I've seen the black guys there, and it's not that they didn't like black women. I didn't want them to, it's, yes, you need to know your history. Even if knowing your history, if you meet the one and the one is the opposite sex, who cares? Like, I'm with it. You know what I mean? But it felt like no one was looking at the black women,
not even embracing the beauty within the black woman.
There were some girls, they were showing out. They were going beautiful.
Yes.
It's like they had to try 10 times harder than a white woman to get a black man attention, just to look at them. They had to try so hard, and it's just like,
it's really sad. It's like, really do we have to sell our bodies? Because you're looking at 2018 where Nicki Minaj is like the image of sex. Like, I gotta show my boobs, I gotta show my ass, and that is not where it should be. That's not how Black women should be represented overall. Yes, we have beautiful bodies, and a lot of races want to imitate that.
Slim, thick.
Right.
Being curvy.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of other races want to mimic like the Kim Kardashian braids, but are really not the Kim Kardashian braid. It's like, you know, how we have her hair, how we dress. It's like we don't get credit for all these things. But as we go into the basis, we're gonna go into the stereotypes. As we go into the basis of versus the PWI and HBCU, like at an HBCU, at a function, going to a concert, you're gonna see the Divine Nines, you know, strolling. You're gonna see
the AKAs. The Kappas.
You're gonna see, you know, people in fraternities and sororities doing their thing, and it's lovely. You're gonna see people from different organizations, you know, shouting out their organizations, doing what they can to help their community. It's always respect. You're gonna see beautiful women and men dressing out for their best, showing off for the other.
In their official attire.
Yes, you're gonna see that, and you're gonna see all happy, you know, vibes in a sense. Like, yes, they're gonna be drama, you know, you get drama anywhere, but at this institute I felt like people weren't free to break out the box. It wasn't
flavorful, people had something to bring to the table. It was just one thing you had to stick to. And if you did
something different, it was just like, what are you doing? Like, I know that when I was, you know, doing my thing, I got in a little bit of debates with some other people because it's like it was really weird. That's like I was walking, like literally tiptoeing around people, and I didn't like that. And I honestly I was up there, and the basketball team were all predominantly Black. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know what I mean? But you know, they were dressed up. I like a guy in a suit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was just looking. I was with my cousin. I was just looking, and Jess was there, and I was just like, no, I think this was after you came. Before you came. I was looking. I saw this guy, and then I looked at him. We make eye contact, and I was, you know, about to head over to him, right? Because, you know, I'm feeling saucy. I'm feeling good. You know what I mean? So, but then I see a group of girls go up, and he just got their attention, and it's just like every time I see, it's just white women. Nothing wrong with that. No. We're not looking at it as bad, but it's just the fact that as we observe, we just know that, you know, at this BWI, it's not really common for a Black male to be with a Black woman. It's not really common for. I was looking at, you know, the white male with Black women. Yeah, I did like see a little bit of that, but it was really more common for a Black male to be with a white woman. And
and also I would say, like, okay, like I'm fine with that, but I'm approachable. Like, you can say, hey, you want to dance? Like, be a gentleman. That's at the end of the day. We had a concert. Let's have fun.
We love, baby.
Yeah, it's all love. Just get outside the box. Right. That's the key. Once you get outside the box, you see, wow, I never knew this was possible. Like, until I did it. Right. It's just taking that step.
Yeah, and I would say, like, you know, we're not saying, because I know some people might think like, they're just, you know, what's wrong with, you know, a Black man going for a white woman? There's nothing wrong with that. It's just the fact that Black women in today's society is facing all of these, you know, environmental factors. You know, we're still, you know, objectified. We're still, you know, looked at a certain way because of stereotypes. I know Black men who feel like they don't want to be with a Black woman because we're too loud. Which is the stereotype.
Yeah,
you know,
so let's get into that.
Yeah, let's get into stereotypes. Let's do it.
We're already there.
Yes. Yeah. Like I was saying, like I know Black men who don't want to be with women like us because we're loud, ghetto. Yeah. You know,
always drama.
You know what I mean? But what is this image that is in this world? I know so many black women, they're entrepreneurs, that they get their money. They
got
in the back.
The house, the car, the kids.
They educated. My sister is she got her master's at a HBCU. She is a social worker. She is many things. A mother.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And this image.
I'm so proud of her.
Yes, and this
I
image,
was so
she
happy.
goes upon this, image, statistics about, black women. We go against it because we're educated black women.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
That's
and
right.
it's just like there's like a fear, I don't want to be with her because of this.
She's so powerful in the aspect that she breaks that stereotype of the angry black woman. No, you once you look at TV, the TV is what's putting that in your mind to say that, oh, this is what you're gonna expect if you date her. And like Love and Hip Hop, like you see those women arguing, all the drama. That's what you're looking at.
That's my show, though. That's the girl.
That, like, if you watch that, you see those stereotypes coming to life.
It's the media too. Like back in the day, when we was talking about like this, back in the day, you know that the media is what helped us. With our marches and all that time, but the media is also what destroys us because, like she said, Love and Hip Hop, we've met Yandy and Juju. Yeah. They came to our our HBCU.
We talked about that in the previous.
Yes, in the previous one. They came to our school. We met them, and they were portrayed differently.
Yeah, from the rest of the majority of those.
They're actually like when I was talking, I was Jess, Yandy is nice.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
she told me that.
She's my best friend. Like, she really is relatable. She's very genuine. She was very patient. Most, like we said in the previous one, most celebrities just leave when they done. Like, she didn't. Juju was all about business. She was promoting her book. You know what I mean? And they were giving some insightful things for black women because there's nobody speaking to us, encouraging us, letting us know that our skin is beautiful. We are beautiful. And like we said at the PWI, it didn't make me feel beautiful. It made me feel like, oh, I gotta act like this type of girl and act this way instead of acting like who I am.
Wow, that's deep. It really is. I understand exactly what you're saying because when you explain how those stereotypes, when you look at TV or whatever, there's always going to be someone who thinks outside the box. There's someone who's like Yandy and Juju, they were those women that I could definitely say, wow, they don't meet the same criteria as most of those women on that show. And as you know, you probably haven't heard of them as much as Cardi B or like, I don't know, some of the other ones. But those people that are silent and aren't that loud, whatever stereotype, those people have they have a voice too. They just haven't been able to get that recognition of amazing women, beautiful, doing their own thing, and they have a family and they are well-rounded. It's just a lot that hasn't been exposed to the majority of the population. So once you think outside the box and stop limiting yourself to one thing or one type of people, that's when you see change.
Yes. I would say that, every time a black woman opens their mouth, it's like, oh, you think we're being loud and we're being nasty. We're being, in a sense, where it's nothing but bad things coming out of our mouth. But when we open our mouth and we're educated, there's no press. There's no media about this. You don't hear about it. You know what I mean? And that's why this image is still circling in our world today, not just like the black woman, but the black man too, when you think about black men, I know people who are my friends who are, white or who are Asian or who are Hispanic, you know what I mean, where they are told by their parents that they cannot date a black man. And it's because black men are unfaithful, black men are lazy, black men are, gangsters,
drug dealers.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, wow, that hurts me because it's just like, but what about me? Like,
what do they think about you?
Why do they think that it's okay for you to be my friend? You know what I mean? What's the difference? Oh, you know what I mean? Like, you're fine, da da da. I don't get it. You know what I mean? I don't get the fact that, we go through a lot of, being mistreated back in when we were slaves. We go through a lot of, being oppressed. We still oppressed today. It's like we're just supposed to sit back and just deal with it. You know what I mean? Mm. We're just supposed to sit back and deal with it. And when we open our mouth, we open our mouth, they're always trying to make it a black people problem. Yeah. Like, Black Lives Matter. People they always have something to say about Black Lives Matter. Yeah. They're like, what are
all lives?
All lives matter. You know what? All lives do matter, but we're talking about specifically Black going deeper lives. What's wrong with it's like when we put the attention on Black lives, right. It's like, you're doing them up too much. All lives matter. Yes, honey, all lives matter, but it's like when Black lives don't at this moment. You know what? We're talking about this at this moment. Can we talk about this? Like, why can't we? And so when we go back to, the HBCU experience and the PWI WI experience, we're telling you that, we still see us being inferior to the man. We still feel like we're always not looked upon, in a sense where we should be looked upon. Equality amongst our white sisters, our Asian sisters, we should be looked upon like them. We shouldn't be we shouldn't be like, I want to be with her because she Black. I know Black brothers who don't want to be with a Black woman because they also believe this stereotype. They also believe the statistics. And it's just like, when you know your history, like she said, they need to know their history. And in today's society, history is written by
Caucasians.
It's written by the white man. Yeah. So it's like history wants to write the goods, but not write the bad.
Right. It's always one-sided. There's a bias to it. And when you look at that aspect, it seems like it's always one-sided. Have you thought about the other side of the person? Like, who's the Asian guy? What was his impact? Or what was the Black guy? What did he do? Because they have this Christopher Columbus founded America. No, there were people here already. There was natives here. So all that is so much more to the whole puzzle. You got to bring all people's input, no matter what.
And that's why it goes, and that's why we have classes like Black Families and stuff like that, because we feel like it's important for us to know our history. Like this book right here, The Helping Tradition, Black Family and Community, written by Martin, like this is very important because it lets you know that people think that Black people are also, they're about themselves, you know what I mean? But really our tradition is helping. We're always helping. We used to be, when we were enslaved,
we created America.
Let's
just be real. We built the White House, we built the railroads, the coal mines.
PWI's Ivy League school slaves built that, you know what I mean? And it's like, but we're supposed to just sit back and be quiet and silence ourselves, but we cannot. So that's what I'm saying, that when our experience at PWI, we're not saying that it was bad, but it was kind of, we're speaking for our sisters out there that feel like they would be prettier if they were lighter skinned, because at the end of the day there is colorism amongst our black people, light skin and dark skin. You see this dissonance between us because of the fact that light skins, how they're portrayed in the world and how dark skins are portrayed in the world. I don't know if you know about that Dove commercial where
they drew what someone thought about them by telling them not based on their skin color or anything like that. Is it that one?
No, the one where they were taking off their shirts and it was like a black person had a brown shirt on, and then when they took it off and when it was clean, or it was the other way, I don't know, but it was white, a white person with a white shirt on. And I was just like, so do you guys think we're dirty? Like, I don't. Yes, girl. I'm gonna give that link at the bottom too. I'm gonna show her because she didn't know. Like, but yes, this Dove commercial was like, I don't know if I don't know if when they took off, the black person took off their shirt, that's when it was a white person and they had a white shirt on. And I'm just like, that also, the stereotype that we're dirty, you know, because of our skin, you know, for a long time we were looked upon because we're black.
Brown skinned people, like, regardless if you're a minority, like, you most likely experience some sort of discrimination just because of your skin.
Yes, yeah. If you're a minority, you like Trump right now with Muslims, you know, Hispanics building the wall. You know, this image. Why can't we just all like each other? But, you know, regardless, we're still going to be oppressed. You know what I mean? Because I feel like we need to get back to our collectivism back in the day. How, you know, we helped a person become like a free person be free. You know what I mean? We looked out for another person's kids. You know what I mean? That's how it was. Can we get back to the collectivism where we like are together on certain topics? And you know,
the whole responsibility of just knowing our morals and being respectful amongst the community, family, no matter your race or sexual orientation, like, just being yourself, knowing yourself first is what makes us respect you.
Yes. I mean, I'm happy. I'm black and I'm proud. I like my black girl magic. Yes. I like the fact that my skin is dark, but my skin is beautiful. You know what I mean? I love the fact that I'm curvy. You know what I mean? I'm shapy or whatever. I like that. That's what made me me. Yeah. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that I'm ugly because I have in high school, I went to an art school, right? And because like I went to a theater school and I love theater. Shout out to all the people at theater. So I want to become an actress one day. You know what I mean? I love acting, whatnot. But I was always had to play the black role. You know what I mean? I always had to play the black role. I was never playing any pretty roles. And, you know, I was a good dancer. I never had, you know, training until I went to that school. And other people have been training all their lives. And, like, the outfits that I would wear, my shape would just, you know, come out of it. And it was just always looked down upon, you know what I mean? And I felt kind of, like, out of place. And it's just like, we got to stop making... If you black brothers, you need to stand up for these black sisters. You know, we can speak on our own and whatnot, but you really need to realize that we feel some type of way, you know, because it's there, but nobody wants to talk about it. We just look upon it, and we make the other people, no matter what race you are, feel higher than. Why do we have to do that? Why does it have to be a disconnect? You know what I mean?
And that's why we have this platform for you guys to hear and relate to. The Toni&Jess podcast. We want to thank you guys so much for coming in and looking at this and listening. We really want to help you guys just realize the realities of the world we're living in America and the minorities. So
please tell us your experiences in the comment box. Please tell us, you know, how you felt about us, if we were incorrect, or if, you know, let us know. Like us, dislike us, subscribe.
Follow us on Twitter.
Toni&Jess.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, guys.
Check it. Look at me, I'm all the way turned up. I ain't smoking, but my homie in here burnt up. Yeah, I'm working on him.